Peter Dutton, thanks for your time.
Good to be with you, Brian. Good evening.
Now, you've been very critical of Alan Joyce, the Qantas CEO, for supporting a move towards gay marriage.
Well, I have, Brian, but let me be clear. I know and admire Alan Joyce. I think he's an excellent CEO. I just disagree with him on this point.
Yeah, but why have you come out publicly against his view on this question?
Well, I'm expressing my opinion, Brian. I've got a perfect right to express my opinion.
Mr. Joyce entitled to an opinion?
Yes, I'm certainly not challenging his right to express an opinion.
But you've criticised him for expressing his opinion.
What I've said, Brian, is that he needs to express a personal opinion as a personal opinion.
Is that not what he's done?
No, he's expressed a view, Brian, as the head of a major corporation.
But Peter Dutton, he is the head of a major corporation.
Well,
how does he dissociate himself from our idea of who he is?
Well, Brian, it's his own view. He needs to express his own view as himself.
But himself is the head of Qantas.
Well, Brian, if himself is the person expressing the view, there needs to be a clear distinction between that and the view of the corporation.
But hang on, in what sense was his opinion represented as a view of Qantas? Well, I did not see that.
He's the CEO of Qantas, Brian. Everybody knows that. What needs to happen is that we need to make a distinction between his personal view and the view of the corporation.
All right. Would there be subjects on which it would be legitimate for Alan Joyce to express a personal opinion?
Oh, yes, of course, Brian. For example, his view on air safety or how to amortise the cost of avgas, Brian. These might be ideas that yearn for expression.
But you don't like his views on gay marriage?
It's not a question of what I like, Brian. It's a question of what the shareholders of Qantas might think.
Oh, Peter Dutton, if the shareholders are representative of the Australian population, the majority of them would agree with Alan Joyce.
The other thing is this is a colossal distraction, Brian. We face real problems in this country. We face real problems.
Like what?
Well, like reforming Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act.
But George Brandis said this week that the Anzacs were essentially fighting for the repeal of 18C.
As I understand it, on the Gallipoli Peninsula in 1915, Brian, the diggers spoke of little else.
All right, well, back to the other issue. The governor's already got a position on the question of gay marriage, has
Yes, we went to the last election with a policy of a plebiscite.
OK, has that position changed?
Brian, there are only so many hours in the day. Perhaps not yet, but I can only do what I can do, Brian.
Well, what do you do the rest of the time?
Oh, I'm still the Minister for Immigration.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And how's that going?
That goes all right, Brian. Obviously, I'm out of the office a fair bit at the moment.
Doing all this work?
With this other work, Brian, it never stops.
What would you do if it stopped?
I'd start it again, Brian. We need to get this right. Only then can we address these other crises in housing and welfare and education.
And immigration.
Immigration, good point, Brian. I'd forgotten about serious issues there, yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Oh, no, thank you, Brian.